Now we are going to talk about part 3, logical fallacies. The third part in unit 2 is a paragraph. In the previous video, we have learned about how to compose supporting details to support the thesis and controlling idea, which consists of claims, evidence, and explanations. And it is essential that those arguments are logically developed. Mistakes with the logical connection in argument is what we call as logical fallacies. In general, there are two causes of logical fallacies. The first is overgeneralization and the second is irrelevance. Overgeneralization is when the reason or the conclusion are too broad to be accurate, and irrelevance is when the reason for the conclusion is not relevant. Okay, now we are going to talk about overgeneralization and irrelevance one by one with given examples. Let's move to section 1, overgeneralization. There are three kinds of logical fallacies here. The first is fallacy of division, the second is false cause, and the third is false dichotomy. Fallacy of division is when a characteristic of a small sample inaccurately transferred to a whole or to large groups. For example, because the Minister of Finance was discovered to be corrupt, all politicians are therefore corrupt. No, this is illogic. This is a logical fallacy because one of the politicians is proven to be corrupt. We cannot judge or we cannot assess that all the politicians then are corrupt also. The second is false cause. False cause is when the cause hasn't been proven, hasn't not been proved, or it cannot be proven, so it's a weak argument. For example, people are unemployed because they don't want to accept jobs which pay low wages. This sentence or this argument mentioned that the reason why people become unemployed because they don't want to accept jobs which pay low wages. Do not want to accept jobs which low wages. It cannot be proved or hasn't proved yet. In fact, there may be another more possible reason why people become unemployed. For example, they have no education background or they have no experience, and maybe or simply because there are very few job opportunities. So saying that because they do not want to accept it is totally illogical. The third is false dichotomy. False dichotomy is when there are only two options presented, although in reality there are more than two. Those two options exist. For example, in order to prevent an increase in the number of road users, it is essential to reduce public transportation fees. The alternative to fee reduction is congestion and delays resulting from an increase in traffic. There are only two reasons here. How to prevent increase in the number of roads is by reduce fees, and the only alternative given is by congestion or delays. In fact, maybe there are many another measures that possibly to be taken to prevent an increase in the number of roads. So we cannot say or we cannot close the case only by giving these two alternatives or these two reasons. Okay. Now we are going to talk about irrelevance. Here, if it comes to irrelevance, there are three logical fallacies type also. The first is strawman, second is slippery slope, and the third is false appeal. Strawman is when an opposing or the opposing argument inaccurately presented, so it will be so easy to defeat it or so easy to be denied. For example, public work projects such as bridge, highways, tunnels, and dams are an ideal way to keep a country's population employed. People opposed to such types of government spending probably put nature over the welfare of the population. The opposite statement is in here, and this is illogical. Why? This is illogical. Why? We cannot say that those people who oppose or didn't agree with the government spending, do not care about the welfare of population. Maybe they just think that it is wasteful or there are any measures or another types of government spending that will be effectively work as a way to increase or to reduce employment. So we cannot judge that they do not care about the welfare. The second is slippery slope. Slippery slope is when an argument assumes to an event occurring inaccurately or inevitably lead to a number of another things occur. It likes that one thing causes another things. For example, if same-sex marriage is permitted, the soon traditional families will cease to exist. Really? No, this is logical fallacies. This is illogical also because there's no relation between allowing same-sex marriage with the disappearing of traditional families. Permitted same-sex marriage will have no relation maybe with the traditional families become disappear. So this is logical fallacies. And last is false appeal. False appeal is when an authority or reason is cited to a wrong authority or a wrong reason is cited to support an argument. For example, very simple one. Children should learn to play soccer at school because it is the most popular sport in the world. This is a logical fallacy. Whether soccer is the most popular sport in the world or no, we cannot ask students to play children because of that reason. The possible reason, the more logic reason for asking students to learn play soccer are maybe because it's a kind of physical activities that will support their development, or because it's good for their health, or even for their social activities when playing together with their peers. So, soccer as popular sport is not the appropriate reason for children learn to play soccer. Okay, that's all about logical fallacies. Remember that you should give supporting details or compose your argument in a body paragraph with logical development and avoid logical fallacies like overgeneralization and irrelevance. Okay, thank you. That's all. See you in the next video.